indexes. What is indexing? Indexing, if we talk about real life example, that you might be aware that from the beginning of our studies, from the nursery class, we are reading the books, and in those books, at the beginning, we are having indexes. We are given the chapter name, then particular topic name, then in front of the topic name we are having page number, then again a new topic name, we have page number, then again next chapter topic, in front of topic again there is page number. So index is basically used to easily search or make your search fast, or making your conditions run faster, even in databases as well, as we do it in a real life example like in books. So an index is basically a data structure that is saved on server side, or it can be created on one or more columns. Like we are creating primary keys. If you are aware of it, we are creating primary keys here. ID is the primary key in case of student and new. So this ID is index of this column. So here you can see indexes list. In that list you can see primary ID. So in this case ID is a primary key. It's an index, but it's a primary index, primary key. A lot of kind of indexes are there. Primary index or foreign index, or we can say clustered indexes are there, scanned indexes are there. So a lot of kind of indexing is there in MySQL. It can be created by using one or more columns. So if more than one columns are included in an index, then those columns are called composite key. If we use multiple columns, for example, I use ID and student name. I want that roll number, that a particular roll number and name should be fixed. They should be unique. So I can make both as primary key. Like if I change, now in this case primary key is only roll number. I can make student name also primary key along with roll number. So now roll number and student name both will become composite key. Both will work as primary key and they will be unique. Their combination will be unique, and both will become now composite key. So more than one column included in a key is called a composite key. It is basically used to improve the speed of the operation. Exactly same as book. If you have to go to some particular topic, what you will do, you will not search the book from the page 1 and you will go until you find that particular page. What you will do, you will go to the indexes of that book, you will find your particular topic, and with that particular topic you will find the page number, and you will directly go to that page number to read the book. So the same way the indexing is done in databases. It is used by the database search engine to speed up the queries. I've already told you about the search engines. Then select statement become faster. Definitely select or search becomes faster if we use indexing. If we are having indexes in our table, then index insert and update takes more time, because we have insert and update index value simultaneously. So if we should only keep those fields as indexes that are used in where condition, that are used in condition. Otherwise we should not go with any particular column to make it index, because that will slow down your fetching of data or updating of your data. So it is always a wise decision to make only those columns as indexes that are used in your conditions. Unique index keyword, then index name, on table name, and then columns. For example, here you can see in students new indexing, primary ID is our index. This is primary index. Primary index is always unique. So the simple index simply means that it can be repeated. Now the search will be done on the basis of this simple index. While searching the data, the server will fetch the data as per this index, but this index value can be duplicated. But a unique index is an index that cannot be duplicated, that will be having single value. For example, ID primary key is a unique index because you cannot have two records in a table that are having same primary key. Every time primary key would be different. See, it is 1 to 8. If we create next record, it will be 9. If we create next record, it will become 10. So if you try to change any of the primary key, you will get error that this table cannot have primary key with the same name. For example, if I try to make it 6, it will give me duplicate entry 6 for key primary. So as we are already having a record Gia with roll number 6 and roll number, I have made it primary key, primary roll number. So we cannot make any other record with roll number 6 because this is a unique index, unique key. So this is the difference between a simple index and a unique index, that unique index cannot be duplicated, but a simple index can be duplicated. So that was a bit information about indexing. Here you can see alter command. Basically we can add or delete an index using the alter command, as we have done. Name as primary key, and let's student class as well. Okay, multiple primary key. Okay, multiple primary keys cannot be there. Right. So now you can see I have added students new as unique key. So now in indexes you can see I'm having two indexes. One is primary index ID and student name as unique index. It's a unique key now. So now two students cannot have the same name, as this student name is unique key now. See, if I try to so my voice is clear to you people? So what's if okay. So now you can see I have made student name in my students new table as unique key. So unique means you can duplicate the value. Now you can see here are four names: Nusrat, Soumyajit, Chandra and Ajit. If I try to make it as Nusrat, so here you can see I'm getting duplicate entry Nusrat for key student name. As student name is now unique key, you cannot have two fields with the same name, two students name with the same name, because student name is now a unique key. But if it's a simple key, it can be duplicated. So here you can see add primary key, add unique key, add simple index, add full text index. So these are 4 kind of indexes that we can add using that command. So here you can see alter table name, add index, your column. You can not only create the index, add the index, you can drop the index as well. For example, I want to drop I think it does not. No audio. What's if are you getting my voice now? Samajit, Varsif, are you getting my voice? Okay, Somajit is able to listen, Varsif. I think there might be issue from your side. Varsif, are you getting my voice? Okay then. Okay, so we have seen that not only we can add index, we can also drop the index. So as we can create the primary key, we can drop the primary key as well. So we have both kinds of commands, either to add an index, add a primary key, add a unique key, or to drop a unique key, primary key. So here it is simply showing you the indexes. I have shown you already. Now let's move to temporary table. What is temporary table? Temporary table is normal kind of table, means it's the syntax of creating a temporary table is same as we create a normal table. The only difference is that rather than writing create table, we write create temporary table. Now temporary table basically remains up to that particular MySQL session. A permanent table that we have created till now, all these are permanent table. Even if we close our connection and open it again, we are able to see our tables because these are permanently created. But temporary table is one that is not permanently created. It gets removed when we close our connection, close our session for MySQL server. So a temporary table can be created by create temporary table statement. It will be automatically deleted when the session ends. I have told you this thing. It is only available to user that creates it. So multiple users. So this is our user in MySQL. So this is user root with blank password. I'm connecting with this. If I'm having another user with some other password like root1 or pass1 like that, so if I connect with this, so in both the cases I can create temporary table with same name because that will be for different users. So each user can have its own temporary table with any name. It doesn't matter whether the same name has been provided to another temporary table for another user. So a temporary table is only available to the user who creates that table. So the user that is creating a table is visible to or available to that user only. No other user can see any other user's temporary table. So now what are the basic use of temporary table? For example, you are going to display list of some records from the database, and that list is getting over a loop, going over a loop, and in each loop you are joining your tables, you are fetching the data, then in next loop you are again joining the tables and fetching the data. So this way your fetching becomes very slow, because every time you are joining and then returning, joining and then returning. So rather than doing this thing, what I do, I basically join only once and get that data stored in a temporary table, and every time in my loop, rather than joining the tables again and again, I use my temporary table that is created using that particular join. So this is the basic use of temporary table. Here you can see you can create a temporary table here as well. Create temporary table. So everything will be same, only this will change, the temporary keyword will be appended. Temp underscore students student name where cache. Okay, let me increase the font size. Let me try to increase the size. So font is fine now, Varsif. Okay. So here you can see I'm going to create a table student underscore temp with student name, contact, and teacher. Now if I do select star from Here you can see if I do select star from temp student, I'm getting no record because I have simply created the temporary table. So now this is the temporary table that I have created. This is not the permanent table, so you will not be able to see this table in list of these permanent tables. If I close this connection and if I create new connection, now see, I have closed the connection and I have opened the connection again. Now temporary table is gone. So temporary table is only till a particular session. If the session ends, the table is gone. You will not find temporary table once the session is closed. If you close this session, the temporary table will be lost. So this is the difference between a permanent table and a temporary table. That temporary table ends with the session ends. Now the same way as you can drop normal table, you can drop temporary table as well, simply by drop temporary table and table name. Now I think this thing is fine. Dropping temporary and means temporary table concept might be clear. If this is clear, then we can go ahead with the next slide. Should we go further? Okay. Yeah, Varsif? Okay, so this was all about temporary tables. Now cloning a table. Cloning simply means we create a new table with the same syntax and same fields, and we pass our data from that table to the new table, and this is basically done to maintain, or you can say keeping a copy of a particular table for backup purpose only. Here you can see I'm creating a new table. For example, I'm having students new table. What I do, create, let's rename it so that we create a new table. I rename it to old. So this is students old table. I'm creating create students underscore new create table new with ID int 11, primary key not null, student name varchar 100, contact number begin 20. Group class varchar 60 and roll number int 11. So here you can see I have created a new table, students new, that is having the same structure as students old. Now I want to take the backup of student old in student new. So what I will do, insert into, because student old is having some data but student new is blank, so I have to take the backup of student old into student new. Student underscore new, then I will give the columns class I think one column is missed here, so let me add class varchar 10. So now both the tables are having the same columns. Students, I will add student name, student class, contact number, group class, and roll number. Now I will do insert into students new. I will give the column names, and rather than giving values, I will do select star from students old. Column count does not match. Okay. Student name, student class. See, now what I have done, insert into students underscore new, I have given the columns, and then I have written select star from students new. So this is a single query. I'm using insert into columns, new table, and writing the select command for the second table. Now if you see the records of the student new, you can see all the records from student old are copied to student new simply by writing the query like this. Insert into new table, columns, and then select star from students old. Now all the columns, all the values from the students old are selected and inserted into the students new. So this is how we clone. Yes, Swamijit, what you want to say? How we can means? Yes. That is the next step that I'm going to tell you. Here is the next step. In that, we were doing basically two step process in which we are first creating the table and then we were inserting that into the table. Now next is cloning the tables in a single step. We create the table and we select it. So here is, if I create table students latest and we do select star from students underscore old. Now everything will be done in a single step. Student underscore latest will be having the same columns as student old and all the data. So this is a single step thing that we were doing in two steps. First, last thing we were first creating the table, and then after creating the table we were copying the data. This we can do in a single step simply by create table, new table name, then select from the table that we want to clone. So this was a single step. I think you were asking about this, Samajit. Fine. Okay, Sumajit, let's move ahead then. So this was a bit about this cloning the table. Now we are having another thing that is called information about the database. That is called database information. You have updated your data in the database, or you have deleted your queries, but there are certain things that can return us some valuable information about the database. For example, if I have updated 2 columns in the database, and I want to, for example, I have passed a condition to update any number of columns in a database, and as per a condition only three rows are updated, then how I will get this information that 3 rows are updated? So there, for that case, we are having MySQL affected rows that will let you know how many rows get affected in either select query or update query or delete query. Let's make it an example for the same. Here, rather than doing select, what I'm going to do, update students. Let's open the students table. What I want to do, update students, set email is equal to admin@test.com, where student name like start with S. This is my query where the name starts with S. I want to change my email to admin@test.com. So this is my query. number of. So now let's run this query. Three. Okay, sorry. Now you can see what is going on. Let's leave this part till now. Forget this below part. Only see this number of rows updated is 3. Why it is giving 3? Because what I have done, I am updating all the records in my students table that start with S. I'm simply changing their email address to admin@test.com. Let's move this part for now to make it more clear. Now consider I'm going to do it mohit@test.com, where name like S. So it will give me number of rows updated 3, because we are having 3 records in database where name starts with S, that is Somajit, Sumit and Sachin. If I make it test@admin.com where name end with IT. Now as we are having 1 record, 2 record and 3 records, again 3 records, or let's take it that end with IN. Now we have 1 record IN, Sachin is the only record that ends with IN. So if I run this query, I will get number of rows updated is 1. So MySQL affected rows is a PHP function that lets us know that with a particular condition, if we update our database or even delete, if rather than doing the update, if we do the delete or we do the select, how many rows are affected? Either they are how many rows are selected, or how many rows are deleted, or how many rows are updated. So using MySQL affected rows, we can get that rows number that got affected due to our query. So this is the first information about the database that we can get with MySQL affected rows. Is this clear to you, Somajit? Okay. Next is, there are some of the commands that you can run to get the information about the database. For example, there are show databases. You might already be aware of it, that it will give you the list of databases that you are having on your MySQL server. Okay. And select version, yes, same as Oracle. Select database, select user. Select database will give you the current database. Select user will return you the current user. For example, if you do select user, so it will give you current user. Our current user is root@localhost. So the show status will give you the server status. If you do, you will find various kind of statuses like bin log, aborted connections, byte sent. All statuses about the server you will get. Same as Oracle, same thing is here. Show variables, it will return you the configuration variables. So here are our configuration variables: auto increment, offset, auto commit. Auto commit I have shown you already. Backlog we can have, big tables we can have. So connect time or connection timeout we can give. So these are some of the configuration variables.